Hey there, welcome to my channel. And today I'm gonna read this book named Suddenly a Knock on the Door, written by Edgar Carrot. It's a book recommended by a friend of mine, and she sent me this one. I've only read several stories on train, like Lyland, Jesus Christ, and I'm quite moved by the charming words of this writer, so I decided to read them all. Now I decide to read the very first one, Suddenly a Knock on the Door, the same name as the title. I caught a cold, so my voice is quite weird. Yesterday I had a 4-hour thesis writing class, and I pretty much feel the stress on a second-year PhD student, as if I should be working on my thesis or journal articles all day long. But I simply cannot, because I really want to write something or read something that has nothing to do with my current work. Suddenly, a knock on the door. "Tell me a story," the bearded man sitting on my living room sofa commands. The situation, I must say, is anything but pleasant. I'm someone who writes stories, not someone who tells them, and even that isn't something I do on demand. The last time anyone asked me to tell him a story, it was my son. That was a year ago. I told him something about a fairy and ferret. I don't even remember what exactly, and within 2 minutes he was fast asleep. But this situation is fundamentally different, because my son doesn't have a beard or a pistol. Because my son asked for the story nicely, and this man is simply trying to rob me of it. I tried to explain to the bearded man that if he puts his pistol away, it will only work in his favor, in our favor. It's hard to think of a story with the barrel of a loaded pistol pointed at your head. But the guy insists. In this country, he explains, if you want something, you have to use force. He just got here from Sweden, and in Sweden, it's completely different. Over there, if you want something, you ask politely, and most of the time you get it. But not in the stifling, sweaty Middle East. All it takes is 1 week in this place to figure out how things work, or rather, how things don't work. The Palestinians asked for a state nicely. Did I get it? Like hell they did. So they switched to blowing up children on buses, and people started listening. The settlers called for dialogue. Did anyone take them up on it? Of course not. So they started getting physical, pouring hot oil on the border patrolmen, and suddenly they had an audience. In this country, might makes right, and it doesn't matter if it's about politics or economics or parking space. Brute force is the only language we understand. Sweden, the place the bearded man made Aliyah from, is progressive and is way up there in quite a few areas. Sweden isn't just ABBA or IKEA or the Nobel Prize. Sweden is a world unto itself, and whatever they have, they got by peaceful means. In Sweden, if they'd gone to the Ace of Base soloist, knocked on her door and asked her to sing for him, she'd invite him in and make him a cup of tea. Then she'd pull out her acoustic guitar from under the bed and play for him. All this with a smile. But here, if he hadn't been brandishing a pistol, I'd have thrown him out right away. "Look," I try to reason. "Look yourself," the bearded man grumbles and cocks his pistol. It's either a story or a bullet between the eyes. I see my choices are limited. The man means business. 2 people are sitting in the room, I begin. Suddenly there's a knock on the door. The bearded man stiffens, and for a moment I think maybe the story's getting to him. But it isn't. He's listening to something else. There is a knock on the door. "Open it," he tells me, and don't try anything. Get rid of whoever it is, and do it fast, or this is going to end badly. The young man at the door is doing a survey. He has a few questions, short ones, about high humidity here in summer and how it affects my disposition. I tell him I'm not interested, but he pushes his way inside anyway. Who's that? He asked me, pointing at a bearded man standing in my living room. That's my nephew from Sweden. I lie. His father died in an avalanche, and he's here for the funeral. We're just going over the will. Could you please respect our privacy and leave? Come on, man, the poster says and pats me on the shoulder. It's just a few questions. Give a guy a chance to earn a bit of cash. They pay me per respondent. He flops down on the sofa, clutching his file. The Swede takes a seat next to him. I'm still standing, trying to sound like I mean it. I'm asking you to leave, I tell him. Your timing is way off. Way off, eh? He opens the plastic file and pulls out a big revolver. Why is my timing off? 'Cause I'm darker? 'Cause I'm not good enough? When it comes to Swedes, you've got all the time in the world. But for a Moroccan, for a war veteran who left pieces of his spleen behind in Lebanon, you can't spare a fucking minute. I try to reason with him, to tell him it's not that way at all, that he simply caught me at a delicate point in my conversation with the Swede. But the poster raises his revolver to his lips and signals me to shut up. Vamos, he says. Stop making excuses. Sit down over there, and out with it. Out with what? I ask. The truth is, now I'm pretty uptight. The Swede has a pistol too. Things might get out of hand. East is east and west is west, and all that. Different mentalities. Or else the Swede could lose it, simply because he wants the story all to himself, solo. Don't get me started, the poster warns. I have a short fuse. Out with the story, and make it quick. Yeah, the Swede chimes in, and pulls out his gun too. I clear my throat, and start all over again. 3 people are sitting in the room, and now suddenly there's a knock on the door, the Swede announces. The poster doesn't quite get it, but plays along with him. Get on with it, he says, and no knocking on the door. Tell us something else. Surprise us. I stop short and take a deep breath. Both of them are staring at me. How do I always get myself into these situations? I bet things like this never happened to Amos Oz or David Crossman. Suddenly there's a knock on the door. Their gaze turns menacing. I shrug. It's not about me. There's nothing in my story to connect it to that knock. Get rid of him, the poster orders. Get rid of him, whoever it is. I open the door just a crack. It's a pizza delivery guy. Are you Carrot? He asks. Yes, I say, but I didn't order a pizza. It says here 14 Zamenhof Street. He snaps, pointing at a printed delivery slip and pushing his way inside. So what? I say. I didn't order a pizza. Family size, he insists. Half pineapple, half anchovy, prepaid, credit card. Just give me my tip, and I'm gone. Are you here for a story too? The Swede interrogates. What story? The pizza guy asks. But it's obvious he's lying. He's not very good at it. Pull it out, the poster prods. Come on, out with a pistol right now. I don't have a pistol. Pizza guy admits awkwardly and draws a clever out from under his cardboard tray. But I'll cut him into tiny pieces unless he coughs up a good one, on the double. The 3 of them are on the sofa, the Swede on the right, then the pizza guy, then the poster. I can't do it like this, I tell them. I can't get a story going with the 3 of you here and your weapons and everything. Go for a walk around the block, and by the time you get back, I have something for you. The arsehole's gonna call the police, the poster tells the Swede. What's he thinking? That we were born yesterday? Come on, give us one and we'll be on our way. The pizza guy begs. A short one. Don't be so anal. Things are tough, you know? Unemployment, suicide bombings, Iranians. People are hungry for something else. What do you think brought law-abiding guys like us this far? We're desperate, man. Desperate. I clear my throat and start again. 4 people are sitting in a room. It's hot. They're bored. The air conditioner's on a blink. One of them asks for a story. The second one joins in, then the third. That's not a story, Poster protests. That's an eyewitness report. It's exactly what's happening here right now. Exactly what we are trying to run away from. Don't you go and dump reality on us like a rubbish truck? Use your imagination, man. Create, invent. Take it all the way. I nod and start again. A man is sitting in the room all by himself. He's lonely. He's a writer. He wants to write a story. It's been a long time since he wrote his last story, and he misses it. He misses the feeling of creating something out of something. That's right. Something out of something. Because something out of nothing is when you make something up out. Because something out of nothing is when you make something up out of thin air, in which case it has no value. Anybody can do that. Something out of something means it was really there the whole time, inside you, and you've discovered it as part of something new. That's never happened before. The man decides to write a story about the situation, not the political situation and not the social situation either. He decides to write a story about the human situation, the human condition. The human condition the way he is experiencing it right now. But he draws a blank. No story presents itself. Because the human condition the way he is experiencing right now doesn't seem to be worth a story. And he's just about to give up when suddenly, I warned you already, the Swede interrupts me. No knock on the door. I've got to, I insist. Without a knock on the door, there's no story. Let him, the pizza guy says softly. Give him a break. You want a knock on the door? Okay, have your knock on the door, just so long as it brings us a story. 我真的觉得这是个好故事，但我觉得我需要处理一下我的鼻涕。希望下次坐在这边读的时候，我感冒已经好了。Thanks for watching and see you soon.